Today we're going to be talking about swords in One Piece. Now I'm a pretty big sword fanatic myself. As you can see, I have Enma here and I also have two more over there, so I figured this would be kind of an interesting topic to talk about. I was recently watching One Piece and I noticed some of the most strongest people all have swords. I mean, great examples are Whitebeard, one of the Yonko, has a sword. Big Mom also has a sword. Shanks uses a sword. And we see Roger has used a sword in the past flashbacks. Well, I thought it was kind of interesting because the most powerful swords actually have a classification, and we have a ranking system that Oda gave us for the One Piece swords. I'm not going to get into the ranking of the swords quite today, but if you guys want a video about that, let me know down in the comments below. Also, I'm TheLastYonko. We make quick style anime videos so you guys never have to commit to a 20-minute long video ever again. Let's get into today's swords. So as we know of, there are 12 great swords that are in the One Piece world. And I figured this would be a video worth making because Oda would not make such a specific number of swords if he wasn't going to reveal them at some point in time in the story. And out of those 12 great swords, we have confirmed seen 3 of them. One of them being the most famous swords in all of One Piece is Mihawk's Yoru. It's the big ass crossblade that he uses, and it's one of the black blades. But it's kind of fitting that the world's greatest swordsman has one of the world's greatest swords. The second one we see is not technically a sword, but it's Whitebeard's Momokamagiri. And the other one we have not technically seen, but there is a lot of speculation about it, and is the Shodai Katetsu. It is the strongest Katetsu out of all 3 of the Katetsu set, and it is speculated that one of the world elders actually has. I believe his name is Gandhi, people call him, so the world elder Gandhi actually has a sword that he uses that looks very, very similar to the other 2 Katetsus that we've seen. It has the same hilt, same scabbard pattern and everything, so it's reasonably that he might own one, and it makes sense because the world government loves get their hands on strong weapons, so it makes sense that, you know, the world government would own the Katetsu, one of the 12 great blades. But that's only 3 confirmed, and with 12 in total, there are still a lot of swords out there that we don't know of. If there is a trend with anything, is that if someone is really, really powerful in the world of One Piece, sometimes they have a really, really strong sword. If we look at the trend with Mihawk and Whitebeard, it is reasonable to say that some of the other past or current great pirates also have 12 great blades. So where are these blades and who might have used them? Well, this could probably have its own video, but here's just a quick rundown of who might have used them. The first primary candidate obviously is Gold D. Roger. In the Odin flashback, we actually see him using a sword, although it looks pretty plain. It still could be one of the 12 great blades. Roger has confirmed not have a devil fruit, or for what we know didn't have a devil fruit according to Kaido, because he was the world's greatest hockey user and he told that to Luffy. So using a sword and being a swordsman makes sense for him, and him being the greatest pirate of all time makes sense that he would have one of the better swords. Another really big candidate is actually Shanks. Shanks' sword is actually named Griffith, so we actually do know a little bit about it. But we know Shanks is a great swordsman, and although there are some power scaling issues with that, Shanks has clashed with Mihawk, and he uses his sword to stop the war and stop the Kainu's attack. So he uses his sword a lot. So if he's one of the biggest people in the world of One Piece, it makes sense that he would have one of the 12 great blades. There are tons of other speculations of where the other great blades are. Big Mom has said to maybe have one and she put her soul into it. Past Rayleigh has also used one of the 12 great blades, because we see he does use a sword a lot. Or the sword he used on Sabati could also be one, the world may never know. But there could be tons of swords that we have seen in the series that don't quite have the classification yet, but Oda could reveal later that, you know, they were great swords. A main one that I want to put out is Shiryu's Ryu. Although it isn't confirmed, Ryu is a Myoto sword, which means it is classified, and it makes sense being the head guard at Impel Down, or like the dual head guard at Impel Down. It makes sense that he would have a really strong sword. And it's also worth mentioning that he is lining up to be one of Zoro's final opponents on Whitebeard's crew. So it makes sense as him as a swordsman would be owning one of the 12 great blades. It's also worth mentioning that he actually got it confiscated off of him at Impel Down and made strives to go get it back after he broke free. And the last final candidate I want to pull up is actually Rox D. Zebek. Rox was one of the strongest pirates of all time in the story, and it took the Pirate King and Garp to bring him down, and he had one of the most stacked crews of all time. And in the Sengoku flashback, we actually do see him using a sword. But with all that being said, I would like to see Zoro actually wield one of the 12 great swords. We see all of the greatest swordsmen in One Piece wielding one of these swords, so it makes sense that Zoro would have at least one. He recently just got an upgrade with Enma, so towards the final battle with Blackbeard or wherever the story may go, it makes sense that he might wield, in the other hand, one of his 12 great blades. But that's all I got for today. I've been TheLastYonko. Make sure you guys subscribe if you like quick style anime content. This has been the 12 great swords that we've been talking about today. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss daily anime content ever again. This has been TheLastYonko. Peace out.